Hello, Jeremy here. Computers are stupid, really stupid. You have to tell them exactly what you want them to do, and more often than not, they do something you don't want them to do. So one of the things you're going to have to get used to is being exact with what you tell the computer to do. You instruct the computer on what to do with an instruction. The sequence of instructions makes a program. Everything on your computer is accomplished through going through a sequence of instructions that cause the computer to do a bunch of simple things that are combined to do complex things, like watch a video on Netflix. So for this episode, I'm going to be showing you how Python executes instructions. I'm going to be doing it in Python because it's a pretty easy language to use. That's a good way to start. So what I'm going to do is open up the REPL, REPL, which stands for Read, Evaluate, Printly, to demonstrate some basics. For anything we do in this series, the programs are examples in the REPL. I encourage you to follow along and to experiment and try things out. So please make sure that you have Python installed before going any further with these videos. So what I'm going to do is pull open the Python REPL. Clear that out. So the way you open this command line in Windows is use the Windows, hold the Windows key down, hit R. It'll pop up a dialog box and you type in CMD and hit enter. On a Mac, you use the command or the Apple key. You hold that down, you hit space. It'll pop up a box and you type in terminal. And if you're on Linux, you should know what to do because you are opening terminals all the time. So go ahead and open that up. I will type in Python now, and this pops open the Read, Evaluate, Printly or the REPL. You may have to type Python 3, depending on how it's installed in your system. So once Python loads up, you'll see it says Python version 3.5.2 and a bunch of other information about the build. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off with numbers because computers love them numbers. So let's just start easy. So the number 3, you type in 3, you hit enter. What's happening here is Python reads in 3, goes, hey, that's a number, I'm going to evaluate it, and it becomes itself, which is 3, and it prints it out. We can also do arithmetic. Read in 1 plus 2, evaluate that, and you get 3, and it prints that out. So we can do addition. We can also do subtraction. We can do multiplication. We can do division. Now with division here, we are getting a decimal. You can see 0.5. So Python knows how to handle decimals, which is not a surprise. We can also do order of operations as such. So Python knows that you do multiplication before addition. So it's going to go 2 times 3 is 6, plus 1 is 7. And you see we got 7. We really want to do the addition first. You have to group them together with parentheses. and then multiply it by 3. So this would give you 1 plus 2 is 3, times 3 is 9. At this point, you can go ahead and, well, at any point you can pause the video and play with things. I encourage you to take a hands-on approach. The only real way you're going to get better at this is practice, practice, practice. So, the next piece is naming. In Python, we name things by assigning them. Here, I've assigned x to the value of 3. This is also called a variable. So this is the way we do variables in Python. We do assign it like so. So here, x has the value of 3. We evaluate x. So we get 3. We can also give another variable name. And we can also do longer names. And there's no problem with that. Except that's a really bad name that's hard to remember. So I'm not going to use that. Alright, we can also do things with the variables, like add them. Add x plus y, x is 3, y is 2, so 3 plus 2 is 5. So what Python is doing internally is it's evaluating x, substituting the 3, evaluating y, substituting the 2, and then adding them together. So that's a very simple explanation of variables and naming. The next thing we're going to do is functions. So the way we do a function is a way to name a fragment of code. So it's a sequence of instructions within a program. Yeah, so it's a way to do things that you want to repeat fairly often in a program. So I'll just give an example. So I want to make a function that will give us the area of a triangle, which is 1/2 the base times the height. So we're going to define, def is short for define, area, which is a function with an argument of base and a second argument of height. Python is a language where you indent your blocks. Blocks are a sequence of instructions that belong to something. So in this case, I'm going to indent this 1, 2, 3, 4. Turn 1/2 base times height. If I can spell. So what this is saying is define the function area. First argument is base, second argument is height. Return back to the caller 1/2 base times height. So area, when we evaluate area, so with 3, 5. What this means is call the area function, passing in 3 as the base, 5 as the height. So we have 3 as the base,
5 as the height. Return 1/2 times 3 times 5. So 15 divided by 2 is 7.5. So I'm expecting this function to return back to the caller. When you call a function, it's just using, it's the programmer term for using the function. And so Python shows that evaluates that at 7.5 as we predicted. And that's the basics of functions. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to use some programs I wrote to demonstrate the rest of this. So the first one I wrote to demonstrate I/O, which is input and output. And we will show this with Emacs. So here's the program that I wrote. Very simple. This assigns the value of calling this input function with the parameter of enter your name in quotes. The quotes are special. It denotes a string. A string is a sequence of characters as such. So what this will do is it'll print out enter your name into the terminal or command line where the program is running, and then collect input from the keyboard. And all of that is returned by this input function. So that value that gets returned from the keyboard will be assigned to name. Then we print to the terminal, you've entered, and we print name, which evaluates to whatever was entered on the keyboard. So we can see that when we go back to the command line. Quit out of this. And then run that program. In the name, you've entered hexadecimal. And there we go. It read in from the keyboard and then printed out to the terminal what we typed in. And it's really that simple. So the next program is going to be conditionals. So here's the conditional program. Conditionals are a way to do one thing or the other based on a condition, which is here. So in this program, I just put the old program. It's the same program. It's just the same 3 lines of the program. Just I added stuff to it. So get the name, and then if the name is equal to hexplate, say, hey, welcome back. Otherwise, print, I don't know you. Who are you? So it's do one or the other based on what the name is, based on this condition. Then take the age, input in how old are you, store that as age, take the age, convert it into an integer. Okay, so the reason why we have to do this is input takes whatever you typed in as a string of characters. When we want to compare age to 10 here, you can only compare the same thing. In this case, I want to compare 2 numbers together, so we have to convert age into an integer, and this will work as long as what we typed in was a number.
So we typed in 10, that would work. If we type in 10x, that won't work. Okay, so we get age, we convert that string into a number. Then we go, if age is less than 10, we print you're a baby. Else if, so if this isn't true, we'll go to the next condition here, else if, so else if the age is less than 18. So if it's 10 or greater, and it's also less than 18, we'll print you're a child. Otherwise, we'll print you're an adult. Okay, so keeping that in mind, pop on the command line and we'll run that Python program. So enter in your name, let's type in Hexley. As you can see, it says you entered Hexley, welcome back. How old are you? Oh, I'm 2. That says you're a baby. This is correct. Alright, let's type in Jeremy. I don't know you. How old are you? I am 10. I'm your child. How old am I? I'm 18. Now I'm an adult. So that is the conditionals. Go back to the program. You can see that it only does one. Only one of these prints occur, regardless of what the age is. So now we're going to look at the next program, which is loop. This program showing us how loops work. So ask the age, it's the same thing as before. Here is where it's different. While the age is less than 18, we're going to do what's in this block, what's indented here. So what's indented is we're going to print your underage. We're going to then ask, are you sure what's your age? And store that in age. Convert the string that we stored in the age into an integer. So go ahead and compare it again. And once this is no longer true, we print, you can look. Now we're going to run it. It's loop.py. Now you want to know how I'm completing it. I'm hitting tab. So you type in something like part of a file name, you can hit tab to complete it. Alright, so I'm 2. No, really I'm 5. Really I'm 1. I'm 10. Alright, I'm 18. There you go. So it'll just loop on and on and on until you type an age of 18 or higher. And that is the loop. Python also has another loop called a for loop, and I will address that later. So this is the introduction to the most fundamental features of Python for you to get started with programming. You can actually do quite a bit with what I've just taught you. So go ahead and play around with this, come up with things, be a bit creative, have fun with it, and I will check back for when there's another video.